Welcome back. This is the sixth in a series of lessons on FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Today, we will take on the question of, should I invest for appreciation or cash flow? To answer that question, we'll look at 3 stages of your life. By the end of this short video, you'll know what stage you're in and what are the wise approaches to invest in for your stage of life. I'm Mike Jacobson.
And I'm Harlan Merriam. Good to see you. We're with Attune Investments. We help people invest in real estate, primarily in multifamily real estate opportunities, because they create both appreciation and cash flow for people like you. We just mentioned these two, cash flow and appreciation. Mike, help us understand what these two are.
The primary ultimate goal of FIRE is to have enough passive cash flow to cover your monthly expenses. This is like getting money in the mailbox, whether you work or not. So appreciation is the accumulation of value due to improvements in the value of your investments. For example, if you bought Apple stock at $100 per share, what would it be worth today? How much is your house worth today compared to when you purchased it?
So Mike, cash flow is money coming off that we can put in our pockets, and appreciation is that growing of our nest egg. There are times when we want increased value, and there are times when we want steady cash flow. You shared a story with me recently when you learned 3 stages of our life. Tell that story to our listeners.
Sure. When I turned 50, I went on a bike ride with Robert. He was somewhat older than me, and upon learning that I had just turned 50, he told me about 3 phases of life. The first third, up to 25 years old, is diapers to adulthood. These are your foundation years when you go to school and get your education. The next 25 years are the building third. You may start a family, start and grow a business, maybe even have a career at a good company and grow your nest egg. Then 50 to 75 are the best third. This is when your kids are launched and on their own. They may get married, you may have grandkids. You may also get to retire and enjoy the fruits of your labors from working all those years. And anything over 75 is gravy. I think Robert was in his gravy years and making the most of them. He had built a successful transportation business in his building third and was able to enjoy the best third.
So diapers to adulthood, perhaps ages birth to early 20s, that's stage 1. And then the building years, your working years primarily, from 26 until your 50s. And the best years, what are the best years again, Mike?
The best years are over 50, but that's really when you have achieved FIRE. Your passive income is greater than your expenses, and you have the freedom of time to enjoy doing the things you want. You're able to truly live the vision that we talked about last week. Some people have achieved financial independence while still in their 30s or 40s. This gave them the freedom to do more with their families while they were younger. Unfortunately, I was already in my best third before discovering the FIRE concept. I made a decision that we needed to achieve FIRE as quickly as we could in order to have more choices about our lifestyle while we were still young enough and healthy enough to enjoy them.
Yeah, so when you achieve financial independence, whatever your age, it's all gravy after that, huh? Having heard your story, let's go back to the original question. Should I invest for cash flow or should I invest for appreciation and equity? Let's start with the early building years on our way to financial independence. What do we want to focus on during that time, appreciation or cash flow?
In the building third of our lives, we want to focus on building equity, so we look for appreciation.
So some of the ways to focus on appreciation that you and I've used that I can think of right now are creating a business and growing that business so it's worth more and more, or buying the right portfolio of growth stocks. You gave the example of buying early Apple. If you make good choices, which is not easy with stocks, you could grow your nest egg significantly. Or for us, real estate. Mike, you and I found real estate to be a relatively safe and effective way to appreciate the value of our nest eggs, haven't we?
Yes, and much of it has been by purchasing distressed properties, rehabbing them, and then making them available to rent. More recently, we have focused on multifamily properties such as apartments and mobile home parks. These have professional management, and we can force appreciation with improvements in management and condition of the property.
You and I have realized that we can increase the income on our real estate investments, say an apartment complex particularly, and that forces the property to appreciate in value. We'll talk about this on future FIRE lessons.
All right, one more question about appreciation. Have you ever been able to force appreciation on a stock?
Not me. That's a good point, Mike. That's why you and I have focused on real estate investments. We can maintain a lot more control with these. But when should we shift our emphasis from appreciation to cash flow? I'm sure some of our listeners are asking this question.
My dad told me once that when we are younger, we should invest for appreciation. When we get older, we should invest for the cash flow.
Good advice. And this requires that through steady investments and the growth that happens through appreciation, we're able to achieve that financial independence. And in your own case, you had to keep using appreciation to get to your goal, even though you were in your 50s already. As we approach our nest egg target value, we can begin to focus on cash flow.
So let's take that in the context of achieving FIRE, financial independence, retire early. We really want cash flow to cover our expenses, but first we generally need to create equity that can be converted to cash flow.
So during our diapers to adult years, that first third, we're probably not thinking much about retirement or financial independence, are we? We're focused on learning a skill set and to earn a living and create a business. We're laying the foundation.
Right. And then in the building years, we begin to use the FIRE approach to build up a sizable nest egg by regularly investing and living in such a way that we're creating assets. Those assets will grow to produce the cash flow to support us without us having to work. And we'll focus on appreciation during these years.
And then during the best years, as they arrive, hopefully with us achieving that financial independence at some point, our assets are producing a nice cash flow. And we're free to focus on cash flow and then balance that with appreciation as we need to.
So for those listening, determine what stage you're in and whether or not, and whether you might be wise to focus on appreciation or cash flow, depending on your stage of life. So next week, we'll be talking about making tough choices on your way to FIRE. See you next week.